that you guys attended. Okay, so we'll go around and do the BNI type of introduction, a name, seat, or company name, seat, and just which are you, either communications or events? So we'll start with Rachel.
Okay, great. It's Rochelle, and that's okay. I get Rachel all the time.
This is Rachel on your name thing.
I should say Rochelle.
Oh, sorry.
Does it
Okay,
get cut
never
off
mind.
for you,
Never mind. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. It's one of those, like, the mind does, and yeah, transposes letters and all the things. It's good. Yeah, it's Rochelle with Infinity Brand Photography, and I'm part of BNI Synergy in Red Deer, Alberta, and just newly to the communications lead role. And yeah, and I just niche in business brand photography.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us. Robin.
That's Robin. I'm kidding. Come on, get it right. Yeah, Robin Albright. I'm with a company called Two Birds, One Stone Graphic Design, and I hold that seat in Rocky Mountain Thunder.
Are you on events this term?
I'm still. They can't get rid of me. Apparently, I've been on events for like 3 years now.
Everybody loves you. Okay. Kim?
Careful with that one. Kim?
It's actually called Kind.
That's kind.
That's kind. I'm the Snap Happy photographer, and I'm a member of BNI Sunrise in Red Deer, Alberta, and I'm the communications lead this time around.
Great. Awesome. It's good to have you here. Hey, Dale, you're just in time to introduce yourself, company name, and I'm pretty sure you're communications, but.
That's Dolly.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey guys, Dale with BNI Vibe, Rogers Communications, one of the only wireless guys in Western Canada. So loving being around, going and jumping around on these online things. And yes, communication for my 8th term, maybe 9th. I don't even know anymore. I've lost track of them now.
You're what's called a seasoned member.
There's just going to be a statue erected soon.
Actually, there's people that have got other positions longer. Our mentor lead has actually been there for 8 years in the same position. So that's Mike Breen has been there, but he wouldn't want to be technology or do any of that stuff. He's still, even with his people, goes and pulls out the paper book and does the online, pulls out the book with his mentor team and shows every new member the old paper book and shows the spiral and the graphs and everything like that. So, but he works well.
Awesome. Well, we're glad to have you because you do add a wealth of knowledge because you've been in that role and know a lot.
And I know events. I help our events guy a lot too. So.
Oh, and yeah. And I'm just going to post this to Facebook, our beautiful pictures, so people come and join us just in case they forgot. But go ahead, Greg, in the meantime.
In the meantime, sure. Greg T. I don't know how to warp that one, guys. Sorry. Garrick? Greg T. Yeah, nice. Oh, that's good. Yeah, senior marketing director here in BNI Alberta South. Yes, I work with global national stuff, but here I am also Greg T from BNI Optimum, where I hold the web design seat. There you go. Oh,
Great.
and I'm membership there, but that's different.
Awesome. And I'm Tony Gaffey. I'm with the BNI Knights, and my company is Ratio Marketing. We do research strategy and planning for companies that are growing. And I'm the events ambassador. So when we were face to face, I planned a number of events, but my main events is coming up, the awards gala. Greg, I do have to talk to you about the next step that we're at. But anyways, that's kind of already well underway, but so today what we do at these meetings is we kind of talk about communications, and today we're going to do a presentation on stack days, and then we kind of wrap up with anybody have any questions or need support, basically. Hey, Greg.
Yep.
Do you want to talk about communications? Did you have any updates or?
A little one that's kind of neat, and I'm kind of thrilled that this is being recorded because this could be a really cool thing. Just so you guys are aware, we are actually piloting something a little bit new I shouldn't say a little bit, it's a lot new. And what it could entail or could do is greatly affect how communications runs with the slides. There you go, Dale. All the experience you have, we're going to get rid of it. And no, it's actually kind of neat. So some of the difficulties that we've seen happen in the past, where if there's a campaign or a new thing we want to promote, want to talk about webinars and stuff, and we say, hey, make sure you get that into your chapter slides, and it doesn't happen because someone maybe forgot to do it, got too busy, whatever. It's going to enable us regional wise to be able to get everything there in place, ready for you to be running that day. Plus, you have the ability to still customize some of your stuff. It's a nice system that could make things a lot easier to be able to promote things better. So kind of excited about it. It's going to be 2 weeks this Thursday. I think I've been taking a look at this. I've been taking a look on the chapter level and the regional level to try and find out where it meshes nicely. And I'm going to be doing a report to the senior team, and hopefully it'll go well. But you guys get the first inside notice to this might happen. So there, that's all.
Awesome.
Any questions? Because I'm open. Thumbs up is good for me. Awesome.
Just posting this link on here. There we go. All right, so that's awesome. I'm going to share my screen because what Greg and I talked about is that there, just by way of explanation, there used to be a role in each chapter for growth. They have a growth coordinator, and they would be in charge of making sure visitors were coming and planning visitor days and stack days. So correct me if I'm wrong, Greg, because this is how I understand it. Visitor days are anybody and everybody comes. They have the area director or your director consultant show up and do a feature presentation about BNI. And usually everybody invites a guest. So if you have like 25 members, 50 people show up. So it's a very different kind of meeting.
Mhm.
But stack days, is that correct? Yeah.
Yep.
And you have like goodie bags and all kinds of incentives and a real drive, right? That's like a 3 month, like it happens twice a year usually or something. We haven't done them. I don't know. I haven't done that in my chapter for a really long time. But but the other option is to do what's called stack days. And that's what I'm going to be talking about. So stack days are picking one of the power team types, and I'm going to talk about them. I made making reference to them. And like, say it's the trades, and then you pick a day, and then everybody invites someone for that trades power team. So maybe I'll show my slides and kind of step through it. So it's something that we've recommended, or we've thought that it would be a marketing initiative where the events people could kind of coordinate it, and the communications people would help to promote it at each and every meeting in your chapter. So this is being recorded. So, and if you want these slides, I'm happy to share them with you. You can show them to your team if you like. Your LET as well, because it's really important, I think, to get everybody involved, which you'll see you'll need to involve a few people to get this going. So I just explained what a stack day is. So you're stacking the power team with people who are there for the seats that are available. So it makes it kind of intriguing because, let's say you do a trades one and you invite 3 or 4 plumbers per se, and it becomes a little bit like, oh, which one of you really wants a seat because it's a valuable seat, right? So we really gear it towards that particular power team group. It's important because it encourages and inspires people to invite visitors. It's kind of a special day. And I'm going to talk about why even visitors are important, and I'll also talk about the 5 steps of what you can do to help to make it a success for your chapter. So what is the stack day? Here we go. Every member invites at least one visitor for a specific seat within a power team. So I mentioned trades, but there's other power teams: business and marketing, health and wellness, financial, lifestyle services like a coach, fitness, those types. Well, that's fitness there too. I mean, there's different types of power teams. They're called slightly different things. We have one that's just an events power team, where it includes our winemaker, plus he wants to get event coordinator, a wedding planner, and all these caterers. So these are the general categories that I found through BNI's portal as types of power teams. Is there anything else, Greg?
No, I think that's great.
And
there's always the basic power teams, and it can be expanded into other power teams. It's not like there's a set things. And the reason is, as you get larger, Or as an example, our chapter, we lost some members, and therefore our financial services power team went down to 2 people. So we kind of amalgamated them into the business power team. Well, now then, as that one expands again, it's time to separate. So
Yeah. So great. I mean, it depends. It's customized to your chapter, basically. So why is it important? This is a great way to grow the chapter. It creates a lot of, I'm going to explain how to get the momentum going. It kind of does generate some excitement for the group and kind of gets people more engaged and involved. And I don't know, like the visitor days that I've been to, it's kind of like, oh, people want to be a part of it. There's a feeling in the air. It's different online, of course, but it's a great way to get people out and engaged and see what goes on. It helps to build those power teams and also helps to generate revenue, because even if a visitor comes and they don't join, oftentimes they can be a source of referrals for members in the chapter. So having visitors is always a good thing, but hopefully they become members, the conversion rate is good, and then they can contribute to the revenue for the chapter as a whole. So here's some of the things that you can do. I said 5 steps, I added in a step. So there's actually 6 steps. So pick a seat that's available about a month prior. So if you want to do a stack day for trades on the first, I'm going to suggest picking one similar day every month, like our chapter's on Wednesday. So every first Wednesday, we're going to have a stack day. That is a lofty goal, but that's what we're actually doing in our chapter. And so the stack day in November, we're going to have someone from the trades team speak. And then, so we started to promote it the first week in October. And I'm going to explain what to do there in a second. So then have a speaker from that seat or 2 speakers be the featured presenters. Then promote the stack day every meeting the 4 weeks prior to the day, and have the communications help to promote on the chapter social media. So here's where the events and the communications work together. So the communications can help to get this word out about, week 4 prior to the stack day. Now's the day that you investigate 10 people. And I'm not kidding you. It says 5 to 10 people that you want to invite, like start brainstorming through your network, like who's in the trades. And then week 3 prior, you pick the top 3 people that you think would be the best. And then 2 weeks prior is you call them and make sure that at least one of them attends the next week. So you can see there's these reminders, and they could be at the chapter meeting, closed part of the meeting, and also on social media, just to remind members, hey, this week, this is what you should be doing. And on our chapter, the communications, well, we have Lloyd, and he's a keener. He's not even on communications, but he's posting, hey, this week I invited this many people. Who's posting, like making it a bit of a challenge. And then the thing is to follow up. This is the 6th step that I added. There should be that follow up after stack day to measure success. And that involves the visitor host team. So selecting the seat would involve the treasurer, because they would have to work with you to get the speakers lined up for the stack day. You'll also want to, talk to the LET, give them a heads up. This is what we're thinking of doing. And then also involving with the visitor host to follow up after the fact. So hopefully you would get a full house of everybody inviting at least a person. But, again, it's a momentum thing. People have to kind of like get a vibe for it and see how it kind of works. And if you do it on a regular basis, like the events lead should initiate the stack day and coordinate the speaker with the treasurer, and try and set it up. Like maybe if it's not every month, maybe every 2 months or every 3 months, like just to give it a try to see if you can get that momentum going where people start to get into the habit of inviting visitors. So that's part of the problem I find, is that I know I'm a victim of this, or, I'm guilty of this, is that I kind of get apathetic sometimes and don't think about, oh, who's a visitor I can invite. But this kind of gets everybody in that momentum and gets them involved and engaged because they're participating, and make it a bit of a challenge. The communication lead can also send out those reminders, like I mentioned, on how to invite visitors. They can also work with the education team for the education moment to explain about stack days and what the process can be, just to keep reaffirming that this is something that we want to build into our chapter culture. So so inviting visitors, following up on how to contact them, making sure the room is full, posting social media, and again, trying to have a stack day on a regular basis. So any questions? That's my presentation. If you want those slides, I'm happy to share them for sure, but they'll be in the recording.
think we can do up a PDF maybe even, and we'll post it with the video that people can link to.
Awesome. I'll do that for sure. Yeah,
Here's a
so
question with a maybe answer that we can kind of maybe discuss. The reason that we do the stack days, the reason that we want to bring the visitors, I know you did allude to that as far as how many, what kind of business that you can get from the more people that are either members or even come to your chapter. Does anybody go to the Facebook members pages often? Just out of curiosity. Okay, you should. Just because there's a lot posted there as far as information, things that happen, a lot of sharing goes back and forth. You'll find it beneficial even for your company maybe, but there's the banner that's on the current Facebook pages, members only ones, is the one I'm kind of alluding to, and that's how much business actually tends to gets handed on average to all the members and everything. The larger your chapter gets. It's amazing, to be honest with you, because a lot of people have a misconception that, oh, we're growing our chapter so that, BNI and the franchise owners here make lots of money. First of all, no, they don't make lots of money. Second of all, it actually helps the members a lot more. And just want to make sure that's really pointed out, because we can do some really great things for our companies and our members by growing that way. That's all.
is that some feedback that's, I've never really heard that. I don't know, our chapter is like a bunch of keeners. I gotta tell you, they're always about how can we grow our business? How can we grow our chapter? They're kind of,
So
it doesn't really factor into ours. What's that?
The race to success game, you guys must love the idea with that then.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing, Greg, is we don't have our teams yet.
Okay, those have been sent out to your LET. So bug your LET. And if they don't know, tell them to bug admin, because they were actually done just before October 1st. And so you know how the teams happened? It was all, here's everyone's stats, and they kind of balanced everything evenly, if you will.
That's what vibes, like people kept asking when we sent out the slides, what the 45 and the numbers were all meaning there with their percentage. And it's basically, they took the traffic lights of everybody in our chapter at least, and then set like a 95 was up against the lowest numbers to make sure that team would have an even pace, not just have like alphabetical and have maybe the top people that are obviously would then destroy the thing. It made it a very even team, and we've named our teams already with proper names, and we've got team captains, and we've got WhatsApp groups made up for our teams.
Nice. Rochelle, you've got something there.
Sorry, just a question.
Yeah, sure.
Never having done the posting before. In terms of the stack days and reminding our members to reach out to their people and things, is this something that you're suggesting that is posted within our private Facebook group, chapter Facebook groups, as opposed to our more public?
Thank you. Thank you for that. And definitely the public side. Private one, you can't share from there. That's good for internal use only, really. And a good example is our chapter's been this term, our LET has said, look, set up your event for every time you're speaking, so that then we share it with we get it out there. We tell our members in our private group, hey, I've got this out there. And then they will go to your profile and share it. Now, as far as that goes, communications should have access to, as you know, all those different things, including the public Facebook page for your chapter. So you should be able to share there, reach more people, right?
Right. Yeah. Okay. I guess I think what I'm speaking to more specifically is on the public one, you would do the slide or the post that would say, looking for, and maybe listing some particular professions or careers type people. But then within our own chapter private one, could there be a separate slide where it's just like, reminder everyone, reach out to your, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, should we divide that in some way?
I'd say absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, promote both sides, and thank you for bringing that up. That's actually excellent to to reach out continually. And let's be real, most, and Tony will echo this with me, I'm sure, when it comes to advertising, repetition is huge. Because repetition's huge, and I could say it again over and over because that would just illustrate my point. But point being is, though, no, where do you get familiarity by continually doing that same thing over and over and over? And I will say, when I got to the senior meeting today, again, and for those who've known me for a while will know where this came from, I got the whoa, Greg, okay, you're not wearing your green shirt. It threw me again. Because, okay, so I'm known for having, very bright green shirts like that. And that's my company colors. Well, I haven't done that as often at all my business meetings over the last little while, and it freaks people out. But that repetition's huge, and then they remember, and you stay top of mind. So yeah, bombard. I sound horrible, don't I?
Well, in our chapter, the communications person promotes the stack day, and then I promote it, and then we post on social, and like we're both kind of working it
Nice.
just to keep it going.
Well, I had the odd thing where I had someone, I mentioned the realtor seat being open, and someone I knew came to a meeting and saw my presentation. Well, the silly thing is I'm promoting it everywhere. I'm pushing it out there. She saw that from somebody else and went and came to the chapter. I went, okay, that's just funny. So yeah.
Well, I noticed some chapters, and maybe we can talk about some ideas on how to promote the chapters. We talk about different things, but like some chapters, they actually make an Eventbrite when there's a speaker, which is kind of cool.
Totally.
And it seems like, oh, that's actually a special event, but it's a BNI meeting.
Yep.
Yeah, I think there's a hiccup, I think, with that. I'm really unfamiliar with that, but our chapter has done so. And it's like you have to double enter the visitor when they go through Eventbrite. It's not a smooth, seamless system. So I think our chapter, as a result, has decided they're just gonna not do the Eventbrite anymore. But
yeah, and I think that was put through to make it made it easier for, especially in person, so that people could pay online. There's pluses and minuses on both sides, absolutely. As long as they're getting into the Connect system, and the reason being is, then we have them in the database. So then when you guys do have some of these stack days or visitor days, then so you guys are aware, you can reach out to admin and say, hey, we're having this day, and they can help you with reaching out to all the people that have been there in the past. So that's a nice thing too, to help promote your days.
Oh, that's awesome. You mean like I could say that for ours?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Because there's a database there for a reason, and we've tried to make sure that we are keeping everything all available and doing well.
Can they like segment them, like say for stack day, if you're doing trades, can they, or no, maybe they don't know, or do they have that?
I'm not sure there, but it's worth the ask, right?
Yeah,
Do you mind if I share my screen really quickly with
go ahead.
something that I have here, just because we're talking about the specific seats and stuff like that. Something you'll find within your chapter folder. Let me just see here. Here we go. So in your chapter folder here, I've just got the optimum one, but this is one that is shared exactly like this with every chapter. You're going to see it different ways. You may see it like this, you may see it like this. I'm going to do this just so we see it this way. But as you can see, there's all these pre-made, seats wanted ones that you can go and use. I know both of you don't like that one, but I just thought I'd point that one out right there. But and for those who are watching, we have two photographers, of course. So anyway, this one here is one that we did up, and this is kind of neat. BNI, Ontario Southwest reached out and said, hey, what do you guys use for this? I don't like using this system. And I said, well, why don't I make up a slide to make life easy for you? And he went, what? And I said, well, let me just do something. So I said, got this, gave it to them. They're thrilled. Made this, it's in everybody's folder. So you can go in here and change this to be, see, we want a new Dale. Just for you.
Wow. Nobody like Dale.
He's awesome. You can go in here, you can change that.
Pictures, that's good.
Change this to your chapter logo, okay? For where that comes from, just as a quickie, if you go back into your folders, and I'm going to view it this way because it's easier for me, there is a chapter logos folder here, in which case there's our optimum one sitting in there. I can replace that logo, right? Put in a new picture. Again, same thing. I'm just right clicking here, upload from my computer, put a new logo picture in. There's a website that you can get free photos on called Pixabay, Pixabay.com.
I'll put it in the chat.
Thank you very much. And yeah, you can use that. And then all you have to do, when all said and done, you've got your whole thing all laid out the way you like. go up here to file, and we're going to download, and you see there's a JPEG option. Done. Do that, and you've got your own personal one that you can use for all your social media posts and share it around. Just again, this is only there to make things easy for everybody. Kind of played it in such a way because not everybody's expected to have all these photo editing equipment and stuff like I do, even though you photographers should. But anyway.
That was gonna be one of my questions, Greg, because I was like, oh, what do they use to edit these slides and things? Do you just do it right within Google, do you?
Yep, this is right on the Google Slides. Yep.
Google Slides. Okay. So then quick question then, do you have ones that are social media size then? As in that was like a 4:6 portrait size. Do you have
Right.
squares and that too, or?
Well, those pre-made ones are, and what we've said in the past, and we just maintain at this point is if there's something that if you require something specific, 2 ways to go about it. One, if there's somebody in your chapter can do it, please do. And I say that only because, in fact, Robin will attest to this one because he reached out last week and said, hey, I would love the template for this. And my response to him was, what? I have no idea what you're talking about. And he said, well, this chapter and this chapter are using it. Oh, cool. Well, what happened was, once he mentioned it, I was like, oh, now I know. Somebody created something internally because it suits them, right? And they said, this is what we'd like to use. They forwarded it for approval, looked at it and said, yeah, this is great. Go for it. And then they shared it with another chapter who then used that same template. And now Robin took that and went, hey, I'm going to make that a little bit more our chapter with our kind of culture, our fun culture to it. Added that, sent it for approval. I went, that looks great. Awesome. So it's stayed brand compliant. It stays to the nature of your culture in your chapter. He gets to use that and we kind of go from there. So you can create your own, just send them for approval because of the branding side. If you don't have someone in the chapter do stuff, reach out and we can help you get something to exactly what you need. That's all. If I didn't answer your question, just blurt it out because that's how we do things. Right?
Okay, sorry. Okay, so just to be clear,
sure.
I wanted square ones for Instagram. Are they on there in those slides in the document somewhere?
Those pre-made here. Let me go back to the screen share there. The pre-made ones. There we go. The pre-made ones here. Oops. Where was I? I was in the communications folder and we're going to go into the social media. Yes. So these ones may apply a little bit more. So these are, again, pre-made squares. So you can use those, and if you can edit them, great. And on that level, if you can't, if you haven't got the ability to edit, you probably do, that's great. Then reach out.
There's a lot of stuff in there, Greg. I didn't realize that.
There is. We got a lot of stuff we put in there in the communications folders. What we're starting to do now, just to, I'll be quite honest, make it more time efficient for our side, is we've got one folder now. It's called announcements. We're posting all of our stuff in there, but it's generic. So we just ask, take it, copy it, don't remove it, because that's one that we're just sharing that folder with everybody. Hear that, Robin? Don't steal it.
Never do such a thing.
Never.
So yeah, that was kind of the main purpose of our meeting today, was to talk about stack days and then answer any questions. So should we go around and see if anybody has anything, like either a question or something that's been working in your chapter?
Yeah, or comments or anything. Yeah.
Comments on Greg's hair. Okay.
What?
Rochelle.
I'm sorry, I'm just full of questions.
That's good.
Okay, so you make a slide that you want to give to your LET to use in the meeting.
Mhm.
How do you send them generally that slide?
Normally you give it to communication.
Sorry?
You give it to communication.
She
You
is
don't give it to
communications.
I am communication.
So then you would be the one that does it. You make it
Yeah.
up and tell the
Yeah,
LET.
you weren't here earlier, Dale. She has having problems getting access to the folder.
Yeah, I
So-
still don't have access to my folder, so I'm really
Exactly.
haven't navigated anything yet, but I'm just like, when I do get access, it's like I want to get going. But
Yeah.
so yeah, you do create that slide for your chapter to use in the meeting.
Right.
Maybe
I'm gonna go
using one
back
of
in
those
here just really
templates.
quickly, just to kind of show you a little bit of the process, the way we envision it. How's that? Because I think that'll suit better than just saying this is how it's done. So generally, you should have access to this folder. Here's all the different things that are wanted. Okay, this goes back to a member's wanted slides there, but right down here we have they always have the overview when it comes to, okay, so the full version weekly slide deck, that's a backup. We say there it is. And as the communications person, you should have access to this. I know you're saying you don't, that's okay. We're going to get you that. So where Dale's coming from is we kind of, and you can see all the different stuff there. Where Dale's coming from is we kind of encourage or explain that I guess is the communications person, they are in charge of making sure that all the stuff being displayed properly. So, and I know in Dale's chapter, communications person gets those slides together and makes sure they look good, right?
Same with
That's
ours. Yeah.
And in some chapters though, the LET didn't want to let go of it. So they said, no, because we're going to do it because we have to put the stats in, do all these things. And you go, okay, no problem. Then you just make sure that you figure out your own internal system to make sure the new slides get in if necessary. And if they don't, you have the right to hold them accountable because that's your job, right? And realistically, if you had somebody there, one of your support person coming in, attending to check out your meeting and all this sort of stuff, and like, hold it, all these slides are all messed up. Communications person, that's who we go to. And we say, no, this is the way it should be because they are responsible for.
Like I say, the communication person, if you actually do it right, you should be touch pointing with every single member of leadership at some point. Your events person will be, okay, this is what we're working on. You make the slides. The VP, we have a Google Docs that we have that the VP sends all the updated stuff. So I update all the slides saying the weekly and the chapter goals. And then I talk to the president. What's your quote? I make sure I talk to every week. I'm talking to every single member pretty much. Visitor host team, hey, who's coming in? And I make sure I've got that. If they don't get a hold of them, I just go onto the BNI Connect and get the numbers right. About the night before I do my slides, I just go into BNI Connect and everybody's in there already. Maybe if it doesn't have a name attached, you follow up with them. It's super easy to do once you get a pattern of it there, but it's literally a touch base with every single person. Other than mentor and membership, really, but even membership, you're always checking if there's something in the queue for if there's applications in there. I've got a slide, we got our top 12 that we look at, and then we have a little slide at the very bottom saying who's in queue. So we update that weekly. So I'm touching base literally with every member. That's why I say communication has one of the most important roles that's not talked about.
And to mess you up totally, Dale, this new process that I kind of alluded to earlier, will totally mess up your process, but it's a good thing.
Okay, as long as
and the reason being is it makes it easier for you to do what you need to do for communications, LT, everything. As an example, there's a list of your members because it all gets pulled in from BNI Connect. And when a member, you've got a new member, you need their photo, you need their logo, that kind of stuff. It's literally push button and it sends them an email and says upload this stuff, and it automatically puts it in the slides for you.
Nice.
Yeah, some kind of cool stuff there. When there's somebody who is supposed to have their slides to you because they're doing a presentation, they can upload and get it ready right there on the spot too. So some of this stuff may change a bit, and I don't say that to confuse you. I just don't want you to be frustrated if it happens. Okay.
I can still edit it. Even if it goes uploaded, I can still edit what they've uploaded if necessary.
To a certain extent, yes, you can. Yeah.
Okay. Just because sometimes I like to make sure it's fit nicer, make sure form fitting, and
right.
Some people you got to remember, every chapter's got that person that they're gonna look at you and be like, well, I guess I'm not doing slides because they just aren't tech. Like tech, we're talking like Stone Age tablet tech, and I can do it for them. So if I can't do it for them, there's gonna be problems, and we're gonna have to do some serious editing because I know there's at least 3 members of my chapter that literally like, yeah, I need to be doing it for them. I actually have to go through and I'm like, give me your slides by Monday so I can look at them, and then I can edit them, make sure the everything fits nicely and makes it move. I'll even help do some animations for them, but it has to be done by like 2 days in advance, not on Tuesday nights. So I'm good with that and fixing people's slides, but there are some very low tech people in BNI, and I know at least in that vibe, I can say very low tech.
That's life. That's not just BNI.
Yeah, that's everywhere.
It's all good. It's all good.
When you have to do slides, if it's doing it all populated, I need some control on that.
Love it.
So, well, just continuing that theme of going around, like, but Dale, do you have any other tips for Rochelle and Kim as they're kind of new to their position?
Well, I got so many tips. I can go on for hours. You know me, I can talk a lot. So I can.
Warning.
I just need to know kind of what you guys, if you have questions, as someone that's been doing this a long time on the case by case situation, and I can give you a lot of stuff that is good, and I also can break a couple of Greg's rules, even because we do a little bit. Vibe's always been known as the renegade chapter, so we do a little bit. But to the defense, Vibe is also the one that created the PowerPoint that has the nice moving things that Greg incorporated into the permanent slide deck. So Vibe came up with some ideas that didn't exist prior to him going, what the hell? These are cool. I want these in mine. So just so you know, so I can break rules and make things. So what do you guys have questions for me? I can help.
Love it.
There's too many to go.
Or have a one-to-one with Dale?
I was
Yeah,
gonna
I wrote
suggest
down
that,
the
yeah.
information. Thank you. Without having even questions arise when you start to use things, right? And because I haven't had that opportunity, I think my main questions have been answered. But moving forward, I'm sure there's going to be more. So I got Dale's information.
Perfect.
Yeah, definitely put my information in there because I'm full of resources, and the best way to get a hold of me is email or WhatsApp.
And so what about you, Kim? How are things going?
Awesome. I have a president who has full control of the slides.
Totally
So
get it.
he gives me my 2 slides to update, and I give them back to him on Mondays, and he uploads them, does the presentation. So for now, I'm good.
Makes it easy for you, right?
Until he uses the wrong slide deck, and then they're going to hunt me down, right? So I got to make sure he gets rid of the big moon that's on all our slides for the race car, I believe, from training is what I've got to shake the tree about.
You shake that tree.
It'll happen.
Rattle that cage.
Yeah.
So, and what about you, Robin?
Well, there's a lot of things going on where we just, like Greg was mentioning, we're trying to coordinate a social media thing with regards to upcoming speakers. So that's kind of taken up some of my time. I've stupidly volunteered to do that. And that will be, I'm trying to get them all together. So say, I want like a month in advance. I want to know all these speakers so I can do it at once, right? Whether that's going to happen is another thing. So
we do 8 weeks in advance.
Yeah, but I'm not sure we ever know any more than 6 weeks out how many, who the upcoming speakers are 2 months down the road, right? So,
oh yeah.
But other than that, events we've come up with. I've got a couple of other gals on my team now. Which one is an event planner. Which, hey, take over, please. But so that's working out well. What we've decided to do with events is trying to do one major event per month, which actually, hopefully, everybody would like to or could attend. Then we've got a secondary event where we might be attracting 10 or fewer members. We don't know. I mean, it really depends on the members themselves. I mean, we're doing a Halloween bonfire on the 29th. Probably down at Edworthy Park. You can't book it, but there's nobody down there in the fall doing at the fire pit. So we're going to do that. We did an Inglewood Bird Sanctuary tour, but I got about 10 people out to that. So that was kind of a specific, one of the secondary ones we've done. I've got actually 6 months planned in advance now that we're going to be working on. So anyway, lots of little things with that. Again, I mean, it's like pulling teeth to get people out to events sometimes, but the pub nights, the second one, there were like 17 register and 35 people showed up last month. I think because we switched the date due to Thanksgiving, it wasn't the second Monday anymore. We did the first Monday. I think we had like 7 people register and 8 people show up. So anyway, it's hit and miss. I mean, it's a fun night out anyway, so.
Yeah, and this term in our chapter, just to carry on with what's going on in events or some ideas, is that we've got 3 people on the committee. So, I met with them. I'm like, okay, so what do you guys want to contribute? So they all, we have, very unique events like full moon fire burning party. Set your intentions for the next month. An urban hike, funny enough, through Edworthy Park. We're going to meet at Angels Cafe on a Sunday.
Yep.
And then we had a member out of the blue say, hey, you guys should plan something at Cobb's. And I'm like, would you like to be the event lead? And he said yes. So, I mean, that's the other thing. When people come forward with some ideas and keep the expectations low. I mean, there's not more than 5 or 6 people attending any of these events. But at least there's a variety that people feel like, there's one with kids, when you can do the one with the hike with the dogs, so trying to do a few different things. And I always poll people, and I always put up an Eventbrite. It commits people and it puts a hard number on how many people are going to show up. Yeah. So, and with that, over to you, Greg, like anything to wrap up on the communication side?
No, I can't think of anything to add to or go any further and stuff. This was some good stuff. Do you mind if I stop the recording?
Yeah, I guess we're done.